Awesome. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Is it on now?
I'm about to. So ready? Yep. Awesome. Welcome to Double E Elevating Entrepreneurs. I'm here with Jeremy Williams. He owns his own clothing and supply company. It's called Quality Casual Supply Company. And he's going to be sharing with us today on how he built his brand and different products that he has. And Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeremy Williams. I am 35 years old. I started Quality Casual back in 2019. I graduated from Texas Southern University back in 2008 with a degree in electrical engineering. And I worked as an engineer for about 10 years, 3 years in the oil field for a company called Schlumberger, and about 7 years for a company called Nalco Champion under the Ecolab umbrella. And about 2.5, 3 years ago, I moved to Dallas and started working for a company called Heat Source Incorporated as an account executive for them. And so for the last 2 years, I've had my clothing company on the side, and I've been growing it, and now it's starting to really catch some legs, and I'm excited to share with Elizabeth about some of the things that I've been doing here.
That's awesome. Very cool. So yeah, tell us, how did you get started? What made you start? What did you start with? And share. I know you have a lot with you today, so we want to know all about it.
Yeah, for sure. So what happened was, ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to start my own company, my own business of some sort, but I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. Okay. And so when I played baseball, football, a little bit of basketball. I wasn't that good in basketball, but I was pretty good in football, and I was really good in baseball. I made it up to the collegiate level, and a short stint professionally. And with that, I've always had I've always liked hats. And Ken Griffey Jr. was my favorite baseball player growing up, and he always used to wear his hats backward, and I would wear my hats backwards and stuff like that. And so I've always really liked hats. And so one day I was walking through the mall, and I was like, you know what I want? I want like a casual style baseball hat that's not sporty, but not too dressy, just kind of somewhere in the middle to where I could wear it and like dress it up and dress it down with certain outfits. And I couldn't find one. I was in Lids, I was in different, Macy's, Nordstrom, or whoever, and I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for. And the light bulb kind of went off like, hey, I should start a company making casual style baseball hats that are kind of like suede or maybe corduroy or something like that, that I'm having a hard time finding. Like I felt like maybe I could find it if I really searched hard for it, got on Google and searched really, really hard for it. Yeah. But the fact that I have to do all that says that the market doesn't have enough. And so I left the mall, and I started researching manufacturers to manufactured hats, and I was gonna try to come up with some designs and things of that nature. And I ended up finding a manufacturer, and I reached out to them and said, hey, can you guys do this style of hat? I described it. I sent some pictures that I had Googled online, and they said, yeah, we can do that. And so I was like, bingo. And so yeah. I got with the guy that does my taxes, my personal taxes. He also has a part of his company where he does business taxes, and also starts businesses for people drawing up their LLCs and things of that nature. And so I told him that I wanted to start a company designing or making casual style baseball hats. And the name that I came up with was Quality Casual, because I wanted it to be quality. Everything that I pretty much wear in my personal life, I'm not a believer in wearing cheap stuff. Not that I'm too good for that, right? But it's like, instead of I believe in quality over quantity. And so yes. Instead of having 10 cheap shirts from a certain department store, or kind of like I'm not going to say any names, but just 10 cheap shirts, get one quality one, and wear that one. And so I feel the same way with my hats. And so my CPA drew up the LLC for me. I paid him. It costs $300 for me to do it myself. It costs $500 for him to do it. So whenever it comes to things like dealing with the government and taxes and things like that, I'll pay for an expert to do that. I don't want the IRS knocking at my door. And so I paid him. He drew up the business plan for, not the business plan, but the business paperwork for the LLC. He gave me a minute book, which is basically, it includes the EIN. The EIN is the number that the IRS uses for your business for tax purposes. It had my my tax number for the state of Texas and everything, and he looked up Quality Casual. Nobody else was using it in the state, and so I was able to use that name, and that's how I got the ball rolling. And I went on Shopify, WordPress, all of these different companies that have the ability that give you the ability to design your own website. I ended up going with Shopify. It was the most popular. It seemed to be the most user-friendly. And so I drew up my own website. I had no experience doing it. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to design your website on Shopify. And so I did that. Also hooked up with a photographer and modeled my own hats. Didn't really have the budget to pay models at that time. And so I modeled my own stuff. Put the website together.
There you go. You just figure it out.
Yeah, and I launched it September 8th of 2019.
That's awesome.
So, that was that. In 2020, I had a profitable year. So I wasn't like way in the green, but I was in the green. And so
that's all that matters.
That's all that
matters. Entrepreneur. That's all we care about.
That's all that matters.
And we can just keep growing from there.
Exactly. And so, so with the pandemic going on and everything, my whole thing was I didn't want to spend too much money because it's just like, you just never know.
Of course.
So I did enough to, like I said, be profitable in 2020. And in 2021, my mindset was I'm going to ramp this thing up. I'm going to get one of the best marketers, one of the best branders, and I'm going to, all of these thoughts that I have in my head of how I want to grow my company, I'm just going to go head first, 100% all in 2021, and that's what I started to do at the beginning of the year. I reached out to a guy. He charges a lot of money to market my brand and to do my website and all of that stuff, but the way that I look
He's worth it.
The way I look at it is it's worth it. It's like, okay, I'm big into money management and saving my money and living below my means. And
preach. Okay.
Yeah, and
tell our entrepreneurs how to do that.
And so, okay, I'll give you an example. I worked in the refinery business as a not wireline. I did wireline for 3 years, but after wireline, I moved into the refineries, and I was in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And the company
that's funny. I used to recruit for that area.
Really? Yeah, small world, right?
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when I was working for Nalco Champion, an Ecolab company, they had a program to where they allowed their employees to purchase discounted stock. And so they allowed you to purchase up to $600 a month in stock in the company. And Ecolab has great stock. If you go to any restaurant, 9 times out of 10, if you look behind the bar, their warewashing equipment. Warewashing is a fancy name for a dishwasher for an industrial company. And so the bartenders, they use these warewashers, and Ecolab is, everyone I've looked at is an Ecolab brand. And so I'm saying that to say that Ecolab is basically a great company to invest in. Go type in ECL on any ticker, and you will see that their stock has just grown over the last 5 to 10 years. It had only dip that it had since I've had it was in March when the pandemic hit, and it bounced back within a month. And so,
well, that's not bad.
It's not bad at all. And so basically what I did was I lived below my means for the 7 years that I worked for Ecolab, and I invested $600 a month in that discounted stock. And so whenever I left that company, I had over $40,000 worth of Ecolab stock.
Dang.
Yeah.
Look at you.
And so that's the money that I used to invest in the
That's
hat company.
awesome. So smart.
Yeah. And so
I love that. You got to feed the baby.
You got to feed the baby. I love that. I love that saying. And so I use that money to basically, like, I still have it right now, 2020. I'm still actually using that money. Like, I just cashed out a couple of grand in that to pay my marketer this past month. So it's like I'm using that same money that I saved over and invested over the last 7 years while I was with Ecolab, and now I'm using that money to invest into my hat company. And so basically, if you're working for a corporate company, a big Fortune 500 company, look into any type of program that they have where you can make money off of them, because they have to be competitive to get engineers like myself to come work for them.
Yeah.
And so they do things like offer discounted stock. And I did the same thing with Schlumberger as well. They offered a discounted stock purchase program, and so they called it DSPP. And so I maxed that out as well. And whenever I left Schlumberger and went to Ecolab, I had like over 20 something grand, and I used that to pay off my student loans from college.
Smart.
And so
you are good at this.
yeah, it's like, man, whenever there's an opportunity, like, just live below
Maximize it.
live below your means for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
That way you can live way up, just live great later.
Yes, absolutely. It's just temporary.
It's only
as
temporary.
long as you grind, though. You can't just sit on your butt. You got to do something.
Man, there is no substitute for hard work, though.
No,
There's
you gotta work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I did that this year with 2021. And I've been using a lot of the money that I earned over the last 10 years since I graduated college back in 2008, and now I'm investing in my vision, and I'm super excited about it. And
Yeah, tell us about it. Show off some of your stuff.
so I've got this hat that I actually had on whenever I walked into your studio.
Nice.
I plan on having these on the website in a couple of weeks.
Cool.
So. And these are unisex, so if you're a woman, if you're a man, you could rock these.
Heck yeah.
And
yeah.
so I kind of look at my brand as discounted luxury, right? So it's like everything is high quality, but I could actually charge a whole lot more for it, but I wanted to give people, the average American, something high quality that they could afford, and not only appeal to the wealthy.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I wanted to do. For example, this beanie right here, it's ribbed on the bottom, it's knitted at the top, it's very unique, and then it's got my logo stitched in it, and I've got like a little signature gold designer safety pin here just to kind of give it a little bit of a different look that you're not gonna find. And so I've got this here, and I'll retail these for somewhere in the 30s. I haven't exactly set all of my price points yet for the beanies and some of the hats that I have, the newer ones. But like I said, I want them to be affordable. Now, if it so happens that these things take off to where you're talking about supply and demand, I will have to raise my prices because I am a businessman. But as of right now, the things are affordable.
Okay. Yeah, show us the corduroy one.
The corduroy one is right here. It's a tan corduroy, and
That's
so
cool.
I've got my QC logo. The guy that did, I'll tell you this for business owners, do some research. Don't just pay the first person that you find to do your stuff. Do a little bit of research. Interview a couple of marketers. Interview a couple of people that you want to do some things for your brand before you just go with someone, because there's a lot of talented people out there that are hungry and they're grinders, and they're eager to work for you. And the guy that did my QC logo is a guy that I found all the way in Croatia. So I found him on Fiverr, and he does great work. He's done some super great designs for some really big brands in Europe. And so I've got a European designer that has done my logos for my Quality Casual company, and he told me he was extremely excited to work with me because he had been doing just a lot of beauty brands, and he was kind of getting burned out on beauty brands. He was like, man, I want to do something with an apparel company. And then you come knocking on my door, and I got extremely excited.
Yeah.
And so I could tell the excitement that he had by the work that he did. I mean, he did a really good job on, and this is just like the shorthand logo. I've got at least 30 logos.
Wow.
And so I'm saying that to say that my brand, I don't plan on it getting stale.
No.
Right.
Yeah. That's amazing. 30 logos. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be switching it up. So if you see something, you're like, I've got something new coming down the pipeline.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, and this right here, I went to Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas. I graduated from a historically black college, and one of the things that I want to do to like kind of give back to the community is basically brand. Have NCAA, the HBCU logos on one of my hats, and then I will like donate to whatever HBCU that is on the front of the hat. Whenever someone purchases it, I will donate a portion of the profits to that HBCU.
Cool.
And so that's just kind of a way of like me giving back. And one of the other things that I'm doing with my company is every quarter I am donating to a different nonprofit.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
And because at the end of the day, I've told this to some of the bar owners that I've talked to over the last month or so, because I just did a deal with one bar where they are putting their logo on the front of this hat.
Okay.
And so they're putting their bar on the front of this hat. They really like the suede, and they bought 100 of these.
Nice.
For over $1,000.
Look at you, bro. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you so
much. You gotta
much.
celebrate those wins.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about it. Because I've been selling individual hats, but this actually
that's a good order.
Yeah, like to get a check for over $1,000 for some hats. I'm like, man, I can't wait till you sell these so I can get another one.
Yeah, right. They're gonna sell them. Yeah,
they're gonna sell them definitely because and it's one of those axe throwing places.
Oh, cool. That's money right there.
Yeah, exactly. That has
That's so cool.
Yeah, the whiskey and all of that stuff. And so people, I don't know about the whiskey and axes going together.
Yeah, that's probably dangerous. Maybe have someone moderating that, please.
Yeah.
Let's safety first.
I imagine their insurance premium has to be pretty high for that business. But, man, the owners are awesome. The bartenders are awesome. Everybody there is great. And when I went in there and just kind of pitched my product, they bought into it. And I can't wait to get them their stuff because it's going to look really cool. And you can see, like, this is premium suede here.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really excited to do business with them. And I'm also talking to some coffee shops and some other bars in town to allow them to put their logo on the hats as well. And I pretty much will say, you could do this hat, the corduroy hat, whatever hat you want. You can do it. And as far as some of the contracts that I have a contract with the world's largest hat manufacturer.
Okay.
The people that do the hats for the Dallas Cowboys manufacturing, Brixton, Puma, Adidas, they manufacture some of my hats as well. And so it's like I said, everything is premium quality.
That's awesome. And so you came up with the name Quality Casual Supply. Why? So,
yeah, that's a great question. So I reached out to a hat manufacturer here in Dallas, and it's kind of funny. They said, and I hadn't thought of the name yet. I was kind of thinking of like something quality, something casual, something along those lines, but I hadn't really come up with the name exactly. But the lady put me on the spot. She was like, "What's the name of your hat company, sir?" And I said, "Oh shoot, Quality Casual."
No way.
Yeah,
that's awesome. What a story.
So she wrote it. She was like, "Okay, let me give you a quote on how many hats you want and the style that you want, and I'll get back to you." And you said your name of your company was Quality Casual. I said, "Yes, ma'am." And so I was like, after I got off the phone with her, I thought about like, is that a good name? Will that work? Should I change it, or should I just stick with what I just kind of came up with on the spot because I was kind of pressured by this lady? I had to give her something. I couldn't tell her I don't know the name of the company yet.
What's the name of your company? No.
Yeah, and so I told her that, and that's how
it's beautiful.
Came up with that. I appreciate that.
Sometimes like the best ideas just come on the spot.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you have that pressure creates diamonds, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It does, definitely.
That's so cool. So tell us, okay, so now you have a guy that's helping you with, marketing and getting your logo great and, your website and stuff. But when you were first getting started, you said you were doing a lot of it on your own, right? So why don't you walk our new entrepreneurs through that? Like how you got started as an individual, like what did you use to build your website? What did you use to do your marketing? And then how did you evolve? I mean, or did you find this guy on Fiverr too? Or how do you interview people? What type of questions do you ask to see if they'd be a good fit for you?
No, that's great. So whenever I first got started, man, I tell you what, I don't know how I would have started this company 30 years ago before Google.
Oh, yeah.
Because
the internet, we need you.
I don't know. I literally, I Googled
the .com era.
Yeah, I Googled everything. I guess I could have used encyclopedia. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, I go to Google for everything. I guess 15 years ago I would have been asking Jeeves.
Yes, I remember Jeeves.
Yeah, Jeeves was a cool guy.
He was legit.
Yeah,
what happened to him?
I don't
He's
know.
hiding in the internet somewhere.
He's basically the
come out wherever you are, Jeeves.
Yeah, Jeeves is the MySpace of
yes.
of search engines.
So sad.
I know. You know what's funny? I'll get back to your question, but
he would tell us jokes, wouldn't he? Jeeves was entertaining. I didn't
even think. I forgot about that. He told jokes. Yeah, he did.
Come on, and tips and stuff.
He
Jeeves
gave us
was
tips.
epic.
He had all of the stuff down there. I forgot about that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Man.
But
those were the days.
It was right. That was like my college days. I'm kind of dating myself, but I did say I was 35.
Did you have dial-up too? You guys, you young entrepreneurs don't know how easy you have it. You don't have dial-up. You just go to your search engine on your phone, and already it's like.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, at the touch of your fingers.
Yeah, at the touch of your fingers. Like, you don't have to go sit.
You don't know the hard. Yes, or somebody else is already online. You're like, man, can you get off? Because
Yeah. I forgot about AOL and all that stuff.
Especially when it wouldn't connect and you waited like 5 minutes. You're like,
yeah. It's man, things have
They're
really
harder
changed.
days, man.
And the thing about it is, it's only getting easier. So it's just like, what's funny is like the easier things get, harder things get. And what I mean
because it's easy to not, yes.
Yeah, and so it's like the easier things get, the more people are going to do it, so the harder it's going to be for you to kind of stand out.
Yeah.
And so you really got to be on your stuff. But like if you have a vision, I always say go for it and you can perfect it later. And what I mean by that is, like for my hat company, for example, it's 2021. I started it in 2019, and now it's just starting to really get some legs and grow. And so the vision that I had for it in 2019 is not the exact same thing that's happening right now, but it's happening. And so, just if you got an idea, man, launch that thing. And the state that you're in, the IRS or whatever, the government, they give you at least 4 to 5 years to be profitable. And so if you're not succeeding your first couple of years, they'll give you that third year. They're going to want to see some growth that third year, but they will at least give you a fourth year to like, hey, okay, now it's time for us to see some profits before we force you to go and shut your business down. So yeah, launch that business, man. If you've got an idea, like we all, especially entrepreneurs, like we all support each other. We want to see, we want things to, be easier for us to get our hands on, and I love innovativeness. I don't even know if that's a word, but like I love.
You just made it one.
That's
what entrepreneurs do. We entrepreneur.
Exactly. Yeah, I love when people are
there's
innovative.
There's a way.
Yeah, and just come up with things and just make it happen. And so,
So speaking of, tell us how you got started.
Yeah. So, you asked me what time it was, and I just told you how to build a watch. So the way I got started was like I was saying, I was walking through the store or the mall or whatever, and couldn't find what I was looking for, and the light bulb went off, and I started the hat company. And so I'll kind of give you a few steps of what I did. Like I was saying, Google is like your friend, and so I just kind of Googled some hat manufacturers, and I looked at the hats that they were manufacturing on their websites, and whenever I found something that I thought was kind of like what I wanted, I sent them an email, or I called them, and just kind of like started a conversation with them, and then I would send them pictures of kind of what I wanted them to manufacture for me. Yeah. And so that's how I really got it started, was reaching out to some manufacturers. Okay. And as far as like the design for my logo, I reached out to some different people that like freelance artists, and got their prices and things of that nature, and kind of guided them as to what I wanted my logos to look like, or kind of the things that I wanted to have on my hats or whatever. And so they sent me some mock-ups back, and had to kind of correct a few here and there. Yeah. But once I got it going, I was like, okay, that looks good. Let's roll with that. When they send me the cost, and then I pay for it, and then I have it put on the hat with the manufacturer. And so that's the actual.
That's cool process.
Yeah, that's the actual process of the manufacturing part, and then you have the business part, which is. I'll tell you what. I remember watching this show on CNBC where Tillman Fertitta, the owner of Golden Nugget and the Houston Rockets and all this stuff,
Oh, wow.
the billionaire guy. It's kind of like Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Where
Okay.
entrepreneurs go on there and they try to get his funding to do their business. And I remember him saying that the most important thing whenever it comes to a new business is the sales and the marketing. Because I don't care how good your product is, how innovative it is, if you're not selling it well, and if it's not marketing well, it's not going to take off and it's not going to sell. Nobody's going to buy it.
People got to know about it.
People got to know about it. And so that was the thing, like with me, for example, I was doing okay with sales. I had enough friends and family supporting me to where I was actually making a little bit of money, but I wasn't marketing it and selling it well enough because I have an engineering background, and so I'm okay at like putting stuff together and figuring out how things work. But as far as like branding and marketing, that's not my field of expertise. And so I needed to reach out to someone that really knew how to brand or had a some experience in branding and marketing, and that's what I did in 2021. And so 2021, I expect great things to happen. Like I was talking about the bar that I got into. I hope to get into some stores here soon.
Nice.
And things of that nature. And so I'm really doing some research on that and how to really get into some of the stores whenever you're talking to buyers, some of the things that they want to see that sets your company and your products apart from all the other people that are trying to get into their stores.
Okay, like what? Give us a tip or two.
I'll give you a tip. So one of the things that I'm doing, like I mentioned earlier about the nonprofits, companies from what I understand, these department stores, they want to know what your mission is. Like, what are you going after? Like, what makes you different? What makes your hat company different from Brixton? Or what makes your backpacks different from Herschel? What are you doing? Because there's a lot of people that want to be in our store.
Right.
And so one of the things that I'm doing that I mentioned earlier is like every quarter, I am donating at minimum 10% of my profits to a non-org.
That's
and so
awesome.
that is taking money out of my pockets, but I didn't start this business to become extremely wealthy. Obviously, if that happens, I'll definitely accept it.
Hey, we won't say no to money, right?
Not going to say no to money, but
you are a business.
yeah, I am a business, so I'm not going to say no to it, but I didn't start this business to become extremely wealthy and get private jets and all that type of stuff. I started a business because I just really wanted, like I said, when I was a kid, I always had a dream of starting my own business. And I just really wanted to run my own thing and to start it from the ground up and to really just kind of run a business the way that I see fit. And hire some people and teach them how to work for a company, as well as like maybe start their own company one day and like maybe have them work for me for 3 to 5 years, start their own thing and something that they're passionate about, and I hire someone to replace them.
Right.
I don't necessarily want to pigeonhole anybody into working for me forever. If you've got greater ambitions,
amazing ideas.
Yeah.
Some people just like to work. It's up to you.
And that's the thing about it. So not everybody is cut out to be
an entrepreneur.
And that's fine. I don't like whenever people.
Some people listening may just want motivation, and hey, if you're just an ambitious person, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like the 9-to-5 bashing by some people.
Right.
It's like if you're making money and you're happy and you're working a 9-to-5.
Everybody's different. It's just not my cup of tea.
Work that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life, because not everybody's cut out, or not everybody wants to.
And that's fine.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Work that 9 to 5. Make that money.
Okay, more of the pie for us.
Yeah. Hey.
We'll share.
Yeah. If you want to work for somebody else and you're completely happy, the biggest difference that I noticed between a 9 to 5 and being an entrepreneur is that a 9 to 5 has a cap. And as an entrepreneur,
there's no limit.
There's no limit. You can make 200
and you set your own schedule, which to me is my favorite thing.
Yeah, you set your own schedule, all of that stuff. And so
the freedom's nice.
The freedom is nice. That's what it's all about. Is
nice.
that freedom, that financial freedom that you can get by owning your own business. And so I still work at another company for another guy, and he's a great owner. I may go into business with him because he's just a really great owner, and who knows?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us how you originally did you build your own website to begin with, or
I did.
what did you use?
I use Shopify.
Oh, Shopify. You mentioned that. Okay.
Yeah, I use Shopify.
How does that work?
So it was as simple as just kind of like getting the pictures from the photographer that took the pictures of my hats and of me in my hats, and going on Shopify, and it is pretty user friendly. It kind of, and so there are, I mean, like I was talking about the internet being your friend, Google, YouTube. So I YouTube some videos of how to like build my website on Shopify, and it just Google, or not necessarily Google, but go to YouTube and type in how to build a website on Shopify, and there's tons of videos, and watch 5 of them, and just kind of piece together the parts that you like the most, and just kind of build your website from there, because that's what I did. And it's a usable website. It looks nice. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, but it doesn't look like Nike. It looks like something that a person that knows how to build a website started. But I want to look like Nike.
Okay.
And so for that reason, the guy that I hired to do my new website that'll be up in a few weeks, it's going to make it look like that. So whenever you go to qualitycasualsupply.com, you're not going to be able to tell that I'm a starter company that's only been in business for a few years. You're not going to know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So investing in your business is worth it.
Man, yeah.
And how did you start with your marketing at the beginning, and what did that look like?
So whenever I first started my company, I was doing my own marketing. And like I said, I didn't have a background in that, so I wasn't doing that great of a job. And then surprisingly, I had a buddy of mine that I used to be an engineer with in Lake Charles. He quit engineering and started his own marketing company. And so he reached out to me and asked me if he could market my hats for me for like a monthly fee. I asked him what his monthly fee was. Told him I can't afford that.
Yeah.
But what I can afford to do is to give you 20% of the sales of my hat company if you market for me. And that's what he did. And he did an okay job, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And so towards the end of 2020, I cut ties with him and decided to go with my current marketer.
Okay, very cool. And so your current marketer, how did you find, like, what type of questions do you ask?
Yeah, and so I interviewed a couple of marketers, including my current marketer, and some of the questions that I asked were, you need to know how much they're going to charge you a month to market your stuff and to brand your product. And so that's first and foremost, because you've got to make sure that you can afford them before you ask them any other questions, because if every other question meets your criteria, but they're charging you $5,000 or $10,000 a month, something that the average person can't afford, then you can't use them. So you need to find out what their prices are before you even go any further.
Right.
And so this guy's prices were high because he's good, but it was something that I saved up for, like I mentioned earlier, some of the money that I had saved up from my previous jobs. And so he had me sign a 3-month contract. And so I did a 3-month contract with him, and I'm currently in the first month, and things are looking well. And so some of the questions that I asked him kind of like were what some of the things that they offered. Social media is extremely important in today's day and age.
Yep.
So like, what do you do as far as social media? How many times a day will you post, or how many times a week will you post? Some of the content, kind of like, what do you plan on doing with the content? The website, what all is included in the website? How much is the website to build? Will you be, as I get new merchandise in, will you be putting it on the website as I get it in? And questions like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't too in depth. It was just enough to kind of get a good feel from the different marketers that I interviewed, because when it comes to interviewing people, it's all about that that feeling that you get when you talk to people. It's kind of like, as an interviewer or an interviewee, whenever you're being interviewed by someone, you can kind of tell, do I really want to work for this person, or am I just continue this interview because I need some money in my pocket. I need a
right.
job. Yeah, and it's the same thing that goes for whenever you're interviewing someone. You're like, do I really want this person to come work for me?
And rep your brand. Yeah, because it's your business.
It's my business, right.
Right.
And so the guy that I interviewed to be my marketer, he just kind of like checked all of the boxes, and I was like, okay, I want this guy to do my marketing and my branding.
Sure. Okay. Very cool. So you said you had started with hats, and you changed it from Quality Casual Hat Company to Quality Casual Supply Company. So tell us more about what else you have.
Yeah. So in addition to the hats, I now have men's apparel where it includes T-shirts and hoodies, and joggers will be coming soon for the men.
Nice.
I also have women's crop top hoodies and crop top sweatshirts that are extremely comfortable. All of these hoodies and tank tops, they're all organic and made from recycled materials.
Wow, that's
so
cool.
Everything is extremely green. It's extremely soft. It's extremely high quality.
Nice.
The same people that manufacture my tank tops for the women and T-shirts and things like that. For children, for women, men, and children, they also manufacture the things for Hanes, Champion, and different well-known brands. So everything is top notch.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's how you know it's quality.
Yeah, that's how you know it's quality.
Right, with your brand.
You cannot have a brand called Quality Casual
and not have quality.
And not have quality, exactly.
So that's cool. So do you see yourself like having some models probably this year to get the new things that you have out? And
so the weekend before last, I had a photo shoot for some of my
cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, the photo shoot was awesome.
Where'd you guys do it at? A studio? Or?
It was downtown and in the studio.
Nice.
And so,
I love that.
Yeah, and so with the photo shoot, I had a couple of guys. I had a girl, and so I have another photo shoot. Not this weekend, but next weekend to model some of the newer things, like this hat and these beanies and things like that.
Cool.
So, so with the photo shoot next week, it'll basically be for my new website that'll be up in a few weeks.
Nice.
And so it'll be, I'll have some toddlers modeling. And so my marketer has put all of this together.
Okay.
So he has an in-house photographer.
Yeah.
He has a studio that he owns, and he's able to reach out to models and pay them to model for some of the different brands that his marketing agency represents.
Cool. Okay. So how does that work?
So he kind of does it all. It's kind of included in my monthly payments for him.
Okay.
And so
smart.
Yeah, and so it's
easier for you.
It's so much easier for me. It takes a lot of stress off of my plate. I don't have to worry about models and all of that. I pay him for that. So whenever it comes to managing people, as the owner of the company, sometimes you can get caught up in your baby, your business or whatever, and tend to micromanage because it's yours and you want everything done exactly how you want it. And I've learned that I've kind of got to back up a little bit and hire people and let them do their thing. And that's kind of what I'm doing with my marketer. So I just trust him. I'll send him an email from time to time telling him things that I want, and I'll just kind of let him do his thing.
Yeah, that's smart. Very cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So, lots of growth happening for you in 2021, getting some cool deals. I think it's cool that, like, you're letting other people, like, utilize, your materials and putting their own brand on it, too. That's a great way to grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible. And it sounds like you're going to be rebranding your website and kind of adding things to it and things like that. So, obviously, it's not always easy being an entrepreneur. We hit little, roadblocks sometimes, and, things come up unexpectedly. Can you tell us about a time when that happened and how you overcame it, and give some encouragement out there to the people that are in that spot right now?
Yeah, all I can say is just kind of keep your head up, because nothing happens to you, it happens for you. And so whenever it came to these black hats, these were actually before I launched. rock that thing, girl.
I know. I should rock it right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't really fit with this. We'll take some photos after.
Yeah, and it goes with your outfit too.
Hey,
Yeah.
I like black, so.
Yeah, and so this black hat was actually the hat that I had before I launched that people were the most interested in. And so whenever it came to delivery, what ended up happening was they were misshipped. And so I had 100 of these get shipped to the wrong place. They actually shipped them to Amazon out of all places. It's kind of weird.
Random.
Super random. And so I was using FedEx this first time, the first shipment or whatever, and FedEx shipped them to Amazon. And I found that out because whenever they were supposed to have arrived, I called them and told them that on the website it says that it's arrived, but I don't have them. And then they did some research and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, sir. We shipped them to FedEx on accident. Hopefully they'll be there in a couple of days and everything will be fine." They never came in a couple of days. A week or so passed by, and Elizabeth, this story gets good. Just hang on with me. And so they're like, if it doesn't come in a couple of days, you'll need to file a report, misshipment, and we will refund you your money and everything for the hats.
Okay.
And so that's what I ended up having to do. And so I had to get on the phone with the manufacturer and tell them everything that was happening, and they remade the hats, and they reshipped the hats with FedEx. It takes about 3 to 5 weeks, depending on how busy the manufacturer is, to remake the hats and send them out. So a month and a half later, the hats were being shipped back to me. They misshipped them again. Same story. FedEx shipped them to Amazon again. So I don't know.
Again?
Yeah, FedEx shipped them to Amazon again.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm mad. I've got people like, "Hey, Jeremy, when the black hat's coming?" And I can't tell them that, yeah, it's misshipping. I just tell them that things are happening. You know, I even marked them as sold out on the website just to try to like make it look like people bought them out, but I never got them. And so after the second misshipment, I was like, okay, FedEx is obviously having problems getting my hats to me. I'm going to use DHL. So I used DHL, and DHL the manufacturer rebate them again. I had to pay them again from the money that I got from the settlement or whatever from FedEx. I paid them again. They made them again, and I shipped them with DHL.
Yeah.
DHL shipped them to Amazon.
Oh my gosh.
Just like FedEx did. And
wow,
so,
third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. And so I was like...
Then what? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, obviously there's something wrong with...
What is happening?
There's something wrong with the address.
Oh, is this real life?
Yeah, is this real life? It's exactly what I'm thinking. And
my gosh.
I was like, okay, the manufacturer at this point, they're being nice to me, but I can tell they're frustrated
of course
with me and the whole situation. They're like, "Jeremy, what's going on?" They're probably thinking I'm like getting their hats and like hoarding them and selling them or doing something, but I don't know what they're thinking. But I know they're like, "What is going on? Like, this is not normal."
No.
For FedEx to misship them twice, and for DHL to misship them once, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was I said, okay, I'm gonna go back to FedEx, and instead of shipping them where I've had them ship them, I'm just gonna have them ship them to a FedEx store. And I'm like, they shouldn't have a problem shipping them to their own store.
Right.
And so I launched on September 8th, and so that first delivery was back in August. After those 3 missed shipments, this fourth time, after 3 missed shipments, this fourth time, it is February, March of 2020. So we went from September to February. That's how long it took me. And so I had them ship them to a FedEx store, and they finally arrived.
Oh gosh.
The fourth time was the charm. And so I went and got them, and I opened up the box, and I was like, black hat.
Yeah,
and,
you're just like...
Yeah, I was so excited.
Praising it.
And so I put them back. I put them, not back, but I put them on the website for the first time. Hey guys, hats are available. And I sold quite a bit of them to some friends and family that were asking about them for the previous 5 months.
Oh
Let's
my
see,
God.
September, October, November,
Patience is a
December,
virtue.
January. Yeah, 5 months.
Oh,
Crazy.
wow.
And
That's
so
crazy.
and so, and I'll tell you this though, everything is a blessing in disguise.
Right.
And so I was extremely frustrated about the hats, but what that ended up doing was that actually made me profitable in 2020. And so if it weren't for the black hats being misshipped those 3 times, then I wouldn't have had those black hat sales in 2020, and I probably wouldn't have been in the green for 2020 and been profitable, and I would have been in the red, and that would have had me with 2 nonprofit years.
No, that would not be good.
That wouldn't be good.
No.
And so, like I said, man, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen.
reason.
It happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And so, those black hats, they finally came, and I sold enough of them to be profitable in 2020. And it's the black hats that I ended up selling to that bar that wanted to put their logo on them. And so, now I've got the black hats, and I'm able to give them away. And I've gifted you one, and
Yeah.
hopefully, people like it when you wear it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I like
sure.
it. I rock it.
Yeah, so that's a story of things not going to plan.
Yeah, but you just gotta adapt. That's what entrepreneurs do. They
Yeah.
figure it out
Yeah.
and they move forward. But
Exactly.
yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So is there anybody as you're out there collabing with these different restaurants and coffee shops and bars? Is there anybody specific that you really want to work with, or that you have your eyes on that you're trying to network with, or?
Yeah, so as of right now, my favorite place to grab either a coffee or an old fashioned. Old fashioned is my drink of choice.
Yeah.
And so it's La Reunion in Bishop Arts.
Okay, I haven't heard that one.
They have one of the their barista. He's the #1 barista in the state of Texas, and I think he trained their bartender. So they've got great drinks, coffee wise, and they've got great cocktails. It's a really chill atmosphere. And so I met the owner. I've talked to the owner. He told me to contact him in 2 weeks. I told him I'd contact him on Valentine's Day. And he's looking to actually do a deal with me. And so
Nice.
Hopefully that comes to fruition. And so that's the #1 one is La Reunion, because I love their bar, and I just want to do business with people that I enjoy their businesses, and I enjoy them. And he was a really nice owner.
Yeah,
And,
sure.
The Botanist in Bishop Arts is another one.
I've heard about that one. I haven't
Yeah.
been there yet either. Hey.
If you want to go, just hit me
Cool.
up. Yeah,
Looks cool.
just let me know.
Okay.
I'm in that area all the time. I stay 10
Cool.
minutes from there. So
Nice.
if
Okay.
you're ever in that area and you want to hang out and have an old fashioned or some coffee or something, let me know.
Talk business.
Talk business.
Collab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Talk to the botanist and be like, hey, you should be on my podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all
Yeah.
about connecting people. I'm all about networking, and so
Yeah, absolutely.
if you're ever in that,
Your network is your net worth.
exactly.
Mine's always growing.
Yeah, it's not.
Amen.
Seriously, one of my favorite sayings, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, one of my favorite sayings is a good lawyer knows the law, a great lawyer knows the judge.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so get out there, meet some of those owners, and start collabing and make some things happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my lawyer knows all the judges.
Yeah.
It's great.
You're
He's
in
the
good-
best.
You're in good hands.
I'm in great hands. Yeah. So
Yeah, for sure.
that is so cool. That's awesome. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so cool. Well, I love it. I like your vision. Tell us, so on those beanies, I'm really intrigued. You were telling us a little bit behind the scenes before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
Tell us why you added that extra piece.
So what I did was on my beanies, I have a gold safety pin on here. It's a gold designer safety pin. And I saw some other brands, they kind of threw some, a pin, just a regular pin here and there. And I thought that was a pretty neat idea. And I didn't want to bite their idea just straight for what they did. And so it just got me to thinking what can I do to my beanies to make them unique or kind of have a little signature look. And my tailor, he has gold designer safety pins in the lapel on his suits that he makes. And so I was that would look cool on a beanie. And so
Nice.
that's where I got the idea from. and he liked it. And he's kind of like my go-to whenever I have an idea,
Yeah.
fashion-wise. Since he makes suits, he also has his own clothing company.
Cool.
I was like, I ran it by him. And he's like, man, that's dope. So
What's his company called?
his company is called Doretta Lang.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
What type of clothes does he make? Is it all like professional looking too, like the suit style, or?
Elizabeth, when I tell you, like, if this guy,
I'm curious to know.
if this guy was, let's say, famous, man, he'd be a billionaire. Like his,
wow.
his clothing is like off the charts. Like his design.
Oh, I gotta check him out.
He's so amazing. Like, I actually offered him a job with Quality Casual to be my, to basically be like my version of Virgil Abloh of Louis Vuitton that started the company Off-White. I wanted him to be my creative director for Quality Casual. And he somewhat agreed to do it, but he kind of told me that, like, you know, he has a regular 9-to-5 job.
Oh,
he has
wow.
his own clothing company.
Yeah.
He's extremely busy, and so I think he didn't want to, like, shortchange me.
Right.
And not be able to give me his all. So he was like,
I feel that. I've said no to a couple things before because of that.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what happened with him. And so so he's not on the team, but he's kind of on the team in the sense to where whenever I have an idea, I run it by him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, and so basically, like, with him doing all of my tailoring, everything I wear, like, it fits me really well now. Because if I get a shirt and it's not tailored, I'll take it to him. Hey, man, I need you to tailor this for me. And so he'll put it on me. He'll put the pins on me and make it form to my body. And so all of my clothing now is like,
yeah. Hey, that's cool. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing styling services too. One of my good friends, she works in like investing capital and things like that, and she dresses very professional. But she's like, I love your style because like you have like art, like you're artsy, like with how I dress. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I'll offer styling services for people that want their businesses promoted. And, you know, they're more creative. They want a photography, videography session. I can help them style for it or something. That is awesome. Yeah, so I'm, like, very creative. I love that.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
I really love living in Dallas because of people like yourself. Like, it's just so many people that have these different, you know, ideas and different businesses and things like that, that all you got to do is just kind of be social and start talking to people, spark up conversations, kind of like we did a few years ago when we met. We met at the Park Lane area. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I love that area.
Yeah.
Yep, it's so pretty over there. Yeah, Dallas is so creative. The creative culture, like, I'm originally from New York, so I don't know, it's like in my blood. I love, like, you know, creativity, and I love culture, and I love community, and I love just, like, uplifting and supporting entrepreneurs, and I feel like it's just the heartbeat of a city, you know? It's what makes it grow, and it's just really cool, like, watching everybody's dreams and goals unfold, and including my own, so it's pretty cool. I'll be sharing, like, pretty soon on like TikTok and YouTube about like how this came about and everything. So
I'm looking forward to seeing that because I would like to know how you got into doing podcasts. That's
so I'll kind of share my story some, but that's awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to share with the listeners? Any tips you have on their entrepreneurship journey? Things you know wish you had known? Any tips or tricks of the trade?
Yeah, I will say this. Without getting into politics, I will say that. Do not have only yes men around you. Like, you need to be a person that can be malleable, be coachable, have people around you that are in your circle that you don't mind being critiqued by.
Yeah.
And so don't be closed-minded. Be open to growing, because you can't grow if you think you know it all.
Right.
And so always.
I definitely know I don't.
Yes, I'm the same way. Like I was just telling you about the guy that my tailor that I'm always bouncing questions off of. Don't have yes men around you. Have people around you that hold you accountable and that you could bounce questions off of, and just be an open book. Be humble, but be confident.
Right.
And that's really it.
Humble and hungry is my motto, and hustle, because it's so good. Like I learned so much from so many people, and you know it's so important. But yeah, who inspires you, by the way?
So, it's
a good question.
That's a great question. So when you say who inspires me, would you mind elaborating on?
In life in general, and then in business.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you this. I'm this may sound cliche because he's the richest man in the world, but I was reading this article about Elon Musk, and he said that he doesn't care if you graduated from high school. He doesn't even, he doesn't care about that. He wants to know, are you talented? Can you do the job? And I feel like that is what every business owner should be after for people that work for them.
Sure.
Who cares about these pieces of paper that you have that say you have a degree? And I'm speaking from a person with an engineering degree, electrical engineering degree. Who cares about that stuff? Can you do the job? Are you a hard worker? That's what matters. And so Elon Musk, basically that's his model with Tesla. He actually hires ex-cons to come work for Tesla and pays them extremely well.
Yeah.
And so I hope that a lot of other business owners adopt that type of thinking, and I'm one of them. I don't really care if you have a high school diploma.
Yeah, I don't either.
If you've got a past where you've done some regrettable things.
We all have.
We all have, right?
No one's perfect.